Good morning, my dear students. Now, I am going to continue the class with respect to circulation in animals. Circulation in animals. Under that, circulatory pathway. In the case of animal point of view, the circulatory pathway, or under this circulation, there are two types. One is called open type of circulation, second one is closed type of circulation. Open type of circulation and second one it is a closed type of circulation. What is mean by open type of circulation? Here, under which the pumping organ heart is present, but blood vessels are absent. Blood vessels are absent, but heart or the pumping organ is present. Then it is open type of circulatory system. Here the blood is going to be there in the free spaces or cavities in the body. Free spaces or cavities in the body, wherever it is present, there we can observe filling of the blood. Free spaces or cavities in the body where the filling of the blood will be there, and as a result the tissues and cells will going to get the required things. So, the sinuses or cavities are filled with blood in the case of open type of circulatory system. Example, major example, if you take non-chordata. So, chordata, non-chordata we know under animal kingdom, is an animal kingdom chapter now, chordata, non-chordata study madideve. Under non-chordata, if you take phylum Arthropoda, the major example, phylum Arthropoda, in that insect etc. are having this open type of circulatory system. Okay. Next, coming to the closed type of circulatory system. Closed type of circulatory system now tagondre, here closed type of circulation. With respect to this closed type of circulation, in general the heart is present, that is the pumping organ is present, along with that pumping organ, the heart, we can observe the presence of blood vessel. So, heart, then blood vessels are present. So, major blood vessels are artery and veins. Artery and veins, their individual subunit, they are called capillaries. So, these capillaries will going to provide blood to the cell. So, blood is circulating through a vessel, blood vessel, and blood vessels are the artery and vein are the major things, and its subdivision it is called capillary. So, capillaries are there, blood vessels are there, and here circulation of that fluid is observed through the blood vessel. So, which is the example? Here the major thing is non-chordata dalli kuda ide. So, if you take non-chordata, the phylum is the Annelida. If you take earthworm, and in the case of chordata, it is closed type, isn't it? All the chordates are having closed type of blood circulatory system. It is not open type, it is closed type of blood circulatory system is present in the case of all the chordata. So, that is what closed type. So, here cavities or sinuses are not filled with blood. In the case of open type, we can observe cavities and free spaces are filled with blood. So, we can say like this, it is a bathing of tissues and organs in the pool of blood, bathing of tissues and organs in the pool of blood anta helbodu alva. So, idralli hagalla, idralli ಏನು ಆರ್ಗನ್ಸ್ ಗಳು ಸ್ವಿಮ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಆರ್ಗನ್ಸ್ ಗಳು ಟಿಶ್ಯೂಗಳೆಲ್ಲ ಬ್ಲಡ್ಡಿನ ಪೂಲಲ್ಲಿ swim ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. It is present in that fashion. Here it is not like that. So, that is what the difference between closed and open type of circulatory system. So, that is the total circulatory pathway in the circulatory system in the case of human in the case of animal point of view, okay, circulatory pathway. Then capillaries alli ನಾವು ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ it is a network, highly network, very fine capillaries. So, that gives blood to the individual cell and the tissue system, etc. So, that is needed in the case of higher organism. Next, if you take the other natures or the points related with the circulatory pathway in the case of animal point of view, human being next ಹೋಗುವ. So, animal point of view, if you take heart, in the case of chordata, ನಾನು already ಹೇಳಿದೆ pumping organ is the heart. In the case of chordata, muscular heart is present, muscular heart is present. Then chambers or cavities of heart, it is called chambers. So, chambers of heart is not unique. So, number of chambers are not unique in all animals coming to the chordata point of view. So, the chambers in the case of chordata, different chordata, it is differ. So, if you take fish, starting from fish in the headworm, that is a superclass species alva, superclass species and superclass tetrapoda, ಅದರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಾವು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕಾನ್ಸಂಟ್ರೇಟ್ ಮಾಡುವ. superclass species ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಿದೆ, ಫಿಶಸ್ ಇದೆ, chondrichthyes and ostricthyes, they are having two chambered heart, that is what we can say like this. So, one auricle and one ventricle, here the blood will enter, here blood will exit. Two chambered heart. And in the case of fish, one speciality is fish heart is not going to receive oxygenated blood and not going to pump oxygenated blood. It always receives deoxygenated blood and going to pump deoxygenated blood. So, the auricle, upper auricle will going to receive deoxygenated blood and it will enter into the ventricle, and ventricle will going to give that deoxygenated blood into the region of gills, where it is going to be exchanged with the oxygen. The carbon dioxide is exchanged with the oxygen. ಅಲ್ಲಿ exchange of gaseous material ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, in the gills. So, heart of the fish never receive oxygenated blood, never going to pump oxygenated blood. It will also it will always receive and pump deoxygenated blood. So, it is called venous heart. Fish heart is called venous heart. Okay. Next, coming to the amphibians, idu fish gaithu. If you take the frog, amphibia, so under tetrapoda, isn't it? So, class superclass species and superclass tetrapoda. Coming to the superclass tetrapoda, ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ amphibia. So under superclass tetrapoda, class amphibia, that is, for example, if you take frog, it is with the 3-chambered heart. Then superclass tetrapoda dalli baruvanta another class, that is a class reptilia. It is also having 3-chambered heart, except crocodile. Except crocodile. Crocodiles ಏನಿದೆ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ 4-chambered heart ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಉಳಿದಿರುವಂತಹ ಎಲ್ಲ reptiles ಮತ್ತು ಎಲ್ಲ amphibians ಅಲ್ಲಿ it is 3-chambered heart. What is this 3-chambered heart? ಇದು ನಾವು triangular shape ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಅದನ್ನು representation ಕೊಟ್ಟರೆ, here upper 2 auricles, auricle and auricle, this is the left auricle ಅಲ್ವಾ, left auricle, this is the right auricle and single ventricle. ventricle ಅನ್ನು V ಅಂತ ಬರೆಯುವ, auricle ಅನ್ನು A ಅಂತ ಬರೆಯುವ, left auricle ಲೆಫ್ಟ್ ಸೈಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೆ, right auricle ರೈಟ್ ಸೈಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೆ. upper chambers are the auricles. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಡಿಟೇಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ ಹಾರ್ಟ್ ಹೇಳುವಾಗ ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ. upper chambers are called auricles, lower chamber is called ventricle, and here left auricle will receive oxygenated blood and right auricle receive deoxygenated blood, or we can write carbon dioxide blood. Simple ಆಗಿ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದು ನಾನು. Deoxygenated blood means having high percentage of carbon dioxide from the body parts ಅಲ್ವಾ. ಬಾಡಿ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ಸಿಂದ ಕಾರ್ಬನ್ ಡೈಆಕ್ಸೈಡ್ ಕಂಟೆಂಟ್ ಬ್ಲಡ್ ಅನ್ನು ಅದು ರಿಸೀವ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ ರೈಟ್ ಆರಿಕಲ್. ಲೆಫ್ಟ್ ಆರಿಕಲ್ ಲಂಗ್ಸ್ ಇಂದ ಆಕ್ಸಿಜನೇಟೆಡ್ ಬ್ಲಡ್ ಅನ್ನು ರಿಸೀವ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ, and later both blood will going to enter into the ventricle, and here mixing of both blood will be there, that is oxygenated blood and deoxygenated blood, and the ventricle will going to pump that blood to the body parts. So mixed blood refers to what? Pure oxygenated blood is not going to be pumped into the body parts of the frog or amphibia, and in the case of reptilia like snake alwa, snake irbodu, lizard irbodu, there we can observe 3-chambered heart, but exception is there for the crocodile, it is with the 4-chambered heart. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು, 2 auricle ಇರುತ್ತೆ, 2 ventricle ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಬಟ್ ಬಾಕಿ ಇರುವಂಥ reptile ಅಲ್ಲಿ 2 auricles and 1 ventricle. In the case of amphibia, 2 auricles and 1 ventricle. Auricle will going to receive respected oxygenated and deoxygenated blood with respect to left auricle and right auricle. Both will going to give the blood to the ventricle, and ventricle will going to pump the blood into the body parts. That is what mixed blood ಅಲ್ವಾ, ಎರಡು ಕೂಡ ಮಿಕ್ಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಆಕ್ಸಿಜನೇಟೆಡ್ ಬ್ಲಡ್ ಮತ್ತು ಡಿಆಕ್ಸಿಜನೇಟೆಡ್ ಬ್ಲಡ್ ಎರಡು ಕೂಡ ಮಿಕ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿ later it will going to be given to the body parts. That is what circulation in the case of our amphibia and reptilia, exception is crocodile. Next is the aves and mammalia. Next superclass tetrapodaದಲ್ಲಿ ಬರುವಂತದ್ದು class aves and class mammalia ಅಲ್ವಾ. Class aves, that includes birds, and mammalia, that includes mammals. So we are coming under this category, mammals. So here we can observe 4-chambered heart ಅಲ್ವಾ, 4 ಚೇಂಬರ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ 4 chambers we can write like this. ಅದನ್ನು ಹೀಗೆ ನಾನು ರೆಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟೇಷನ್ ಕೊಡ್ತೇನೆ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಫಾರ್ ಅವರ್ ರೆಫರೆನ್ಸ್. ಅದೇನು ಟ್ರಯಾಂಗುಲರ್ ಶೇಪ್, ಸಾರಿ ರೆಕ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಗುಲರ್ ಶೇಪಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುವುದಿಲ್ಲ ಆಯಿತಾ, ಬಟ್ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಫಾರ್ ಅವರ್ reference I am giving like this. There are 4 chambers. Upper 2 chamber, what is the naming? It is the auricles, isn't it? This is the left auricle, this is the right auricle, this is the left ventricle, this is the right ventricle. Lower chambers of heart named as ventricles, upper chambers are named as auricles. 2 auricle irutte, 2 ventricle irutte, and here 2 auricles are separated by septa, crosswalk. Two ventricles are separated by septa, that is the interventricular septa and interauricular septa. Inter andre between the auricle and between the ventricle septa is there, and between the auricle and ventricle, between the auricle septa is there, between the ventricle septa is there, between the auricles and ventricles we can observe the interauricoventricular septa, or adanu hage heludu auricoventricular septa, auricle matte ventricle. So there is no provision for mixing of oxygenated blood and deoxygenated blood. ಯಾವುದೇ ಕಾರಣಕ್ಕೂ ಮಿಕ್ಸ್ ಅಪ್ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. ಯಾಕಂತ ಹೇಳಿದರೆ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಆಗಿ if that heart is not having any deformities, if heart is correctly formed, ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವುದೇ ರೀತಿಯ ತೊಂದರೆಗಳು ಇಲ್ಲದಿದ್ದರೆ, if heart is correct, there is no provision for mixing of oxygenated blood with that of deoxygenated blood. Here the right auricle will give, or sorry, will receive the carbon dioxide content blood, andre deoxygenated blood. The left auricle receive oxygenated blood. Then the right auricle will give that blood into the right ventricle. Here from the left auricle to left ventricle, here we can observe tricuspid wall and bicuspid wall. The passage is there, later I will explain in the case of human heart anatomy study ಮಾಡುವಾಗ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ, ಮೆನ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ ಆಯ್ತಾ. So here left auricle will give the blood to the left ventricle, right auricle will give the blood to the right ventricle. ಇದೇನು oxygenated blood, this is the deoxygenated blood, this is the oxygenated blood, and from the left ventricle into the aorta the blood is going to be given to the body parts ಗೆ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. And here right ventricle will give the blood to the lungs. ಯಾಕೆ? for the oxygenation purpose, for the exchange of carbon dioxide with that of oxygen, means purification of blood is there in the lungs. So that is what the circulation. So here this is double circulation ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. Clear 4 chambered heart will going to perform double circulation. So there is no provision for any mixing of oxygenated blood and deoxygenated blood. So ಅದನ್ನು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಮೆನ್ಷನ್ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಆಗಿ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ಸೊ ಅದು ಡಬಲ್ ಸರ್ಕ್ಯುಲೇಷನ್ ಏನಂತ ಹೇಳುವಂಥದ್ದು ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ ಸರ್ಕ್ಯುಲೇಟರಿ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮಲ್ಲಿ ಮೆನ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೇನೆ ಆಯಿತಾ. Then so that is about chambers of heart and circulatory pathway, open and closed type in the case of animal general. Now coming to the human circulatory system. Now coming to the point of human circulatory system. So human circulatory system consists of 4 chambered muscular heart. 4 chambered muscular heart is present, and network of branched blood vessels, network of branched blood vessels that includes artery, vein and capillary. Artery, vein and capillary will be there, and circulating fluid, that is blood and its components. ಇದಿಷ್ಟು ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ ಬೀಯಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. 4 chambered heart with the muscular heart nature, network of branched blood vessels, artery, vein and capillary, blood and its components. Let us see one by one. Okay. Coming to the human heart. So, if you take human heart, the weight of human heart, so weight it is about just a minute 250 to 350 grams, and measurement 12 centimeter long and 9 centimeter width. Okay. This is the weight and this is the length and width. Okay. 12 centimeter long and 9 centimeter width, and 250 to 350 grams will be the weight of the human heart. And in the case of human heart, if you take the position ಎಲ್ಲಿರುತ್ತೆ, position in the thoracic cavity between two lungs in the mediastinum in the between the two lungs in the space, the space called, that particular terminology is there, it is called mediastinum. Am I right? Yeah, mediastinum, space called mediastinum. Yes, right, the space called mediastinum. So, thoracic cavity, and they know thoracic cage, it is a sternum, these are the thoracic bones, isn't it, thoracic bones that will going to make a thoracic cage. In that cage like structure, the lungs are situated here. So, two lungs are there and heart is present in between the lungs in the space called mediastinum. This is the mediastinum. In the front side it is having the sternum, in the back side it is with the vertebral column, isn't it? That is the total thoracic cage. So, here we can observe the heart slightly towards the left side of the body, slightly towards the left side of the body, heart is located slightly towards left side, and the space is called mediastinum between the two lungs inside the thoracic cavity or thoracic chamber. That is the right space or the location with respect to human heart. So, human heart is present in that place. Okay. Thoracic cavity, ನೆನಪಿಟ್ಟುಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, this thoracic cavity will give or provide total protection to the human heart and also lungs. Okay. This is the location of human heart, and study of human heart and its structure and disease. So, study of human heart and structure, then disease, that branch is called cardiology. Cardiology refers to branch of biology that deals with study of human heart, its structure, function and diseases. The totally it is called cardiology. The person who studied that one, that cardiologist topic is called cardiologist. One who studied on cardiology, they are called cardiologist. So, one of the branch of biology under medicine. Okay. Next, so this is the general location and size of human heart. Next, if you take a heart wall, as I said earlier, human heart is muscular heart. So, consists of 3 layers, namely pericardium, human heart wall it is called pericardium. It is the protective connective tissue sac enclosing the heart. It is the protective tissue that will going to cover entire heart. Heart ಅನ್ನು ಸರಿಯಾಗಿ ಕವರಿಂಗ್ ಕೊಡುವಂಥದ್ದು ಹೊರಗಿನಿಂದ. So that gives total protection, entire protection to the heart. It is called pericardium, and it is a connective tissue, and it consists of two layers, namely outer fibrous pericardium and inner serous pericardium. Outer fibrous and inner serous, am I right? Yeah, serous pericardium. Outer fibrous pericardium and inner serous pericardium. Between these layers there is a pericardial fluid. So, idar naduve space irutte, space, that space is filled with fluid, that fluid is called pericardial fluid. Pericardial fluid. What is the necessity of this fluid? It protects heart from mechanical shock or any pressure. If it is falls on the heart, that pericardial fluid act as a lubricating system, and also during the contraction and relaxation for the frictionless phenomena, this pericardial fluid is very important. So, pericardial fluid will going to help in the frictionless contraction and relaxation. It gives mechanical strength or mechanical protection against a mechanical shock or any pressure on the heart. That is what the importance of pericardial fluid, and the presence of two layers. So, fibrous pericardium outer, so adannu hage helbodu, outer fibrous and inner serous pericardium. Okay, inner serous pericardium. So, that is about the heart wall. So, here we can observe the muscles, that is I said in the beginning, that is what muscular heart, the muscle which is present in the heart wall, it is called cardiac muscle. So, cardiac muscle is the simple type of muscle which is present in the heart, that is called cardiac muscle, and this cardiac muscle will going to have the involuntary function. In the animal tissues chapter, structural organization in animals, I said about smooth muscle, cardiac muscle, skeletal muscle, is it? So, in that cardiac muscle is involuntary muscle, and we can observe junctional complexes, branching is there, and striations are observed, isn't it? So, we already studied the structural component of cardiac muscle, or what about cardiac muscle? So, cardiac muscle is present in the heart and it is involuntary muscle, and the contraction relaxation of this cardiac muscle is very much essential for the heart beat and smooth functioning of heart. Then is the chambers of heart. So, heart wall alli baro muscles ನೆನಪಿಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಮತ್ತು ಹಾರ್ಟಿನ ವಾಲ್ನ ಲೇಯರ್ಸ್ ಎಷ್ಟಿದೆ, ಫ್ಲೂಯಿಡ್ ಏನು, then what is the function. Now, chambers of heart. Chambers of human heart, 4 chambers, 2 upper and 2 lower chamber. Upper chamber is called atrium or auricle, lower chambers are called ventricles. So, 2 upper chamber and 2 lower chamber is there. Upper chamber is called atrium or auricle, lower chamber is called ventricles. Okay? And here if you take the atria and ventricle, the representation, atrium are smaller in size and ventricles are bigger in size. So, this is the cross walls or septa between the ventricle and auricle, and between the auricle and between the ventricle. So, this is the right auricle, this is the left auricle, left ventricle and right ventricle. This is the intra-auricular septa, this is the intra-ventricular septa, and this is the auriculo-ventricular septa, aurico-ventricular septa. Septa refers to cross wall. Okay. So, ಈ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಎರಡು ಅಪ್ಪರ್ ಚೇಂಬರ್, ಎರಡು ಲೋವರ್ ಚೇಂಬರ್, and auricle, that is a 4 chambers. If you take right auricle, we will going to have the opening of superior vena cava and inferior vena cava. Superior and inferior vena cava openings irutte, and superior vena cava will going to receive the deoxygenated blood from the body parts which is present above the level of heart. ಹಾರ್ಟಿನ ಲೆವೆಲ್ಗಿಂತ ಮೇಲೆ ಇರುವಂಥ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಏನಿದೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಡಿಆಕ್ಸಿನೇಟೆಡ್ ಬ್ಲಡ್ಡನ್ನು ರಿಸೀವ್ ಮಾಡುವಂಥದ್ದು ಸುಪೀರಿಯರ್ ವೆನಾ ಕಾವ. ಇನ್ ದ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ಡಯಾಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಹಾಕ್ತೇನೆ. ಇನ್ ದ inferior vena cava, it will going to receive the deoxygenated blood which is present in the body which is below the heart level. Okay. Inferior and superior vena cava opening to the right auricle, and it will going to receive deoxygenated blood, deoxygenated blood, and through the passage that is here we can observe the presence of yes, here tricuspid and bicuspid wall alva, yeah, tricuspid and bicuspid wall is there. So, it is called bicuspid wall. Left atrium and left ventricle is with the bicuspid wall, am I right? Yeah, bicuspid wall. Here bicuspid wall, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂಡ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಡಯಾಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಅಂತ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತೆ ನಿಮಗೆ. Here the tricuspid wall. Cuspid refers to flap like membranous structure. Here tricuspid wall, here bicuspid wall will be there. So, bicuspid wall is present between left auricle and left ventricle, tricuspid wall is present between right auricle and right ventricle, and through this valve the entry of here deoxygenated blood from the right auricle into right ventricle through tricuspid wall, and between the left auricle and left ventricle the oxygenated blood, in the oxygenated blood barutte, that is the oxygenated blood is going to be transported or given from the left auricle into left ventricle through the bicuspid wall. So, the tricuspid wall will going to allow this in this direction, and right ventricle will going to receive the deoxygenated or carbon dioxide contained blood and the carbon dioxide contained blood is going to be given to the lungs through pulmonary artery. Pulmonary artery. Okay. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಹೇಳ್ತೇನೆ ಪಲ್ಮನರಿ ಆರ್ಟರಿ. ಸೊ ಅದು ಏನು ಲಂಗ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ ಫಾರ್ ಆಕ್ಸಿಜನೇಷನ್. ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಪಲ್ಮನರಿ ವೇನ್ ವಿಲ್ ಕ್ಯಾರಿ ದ ಆಕ್ಸಿಜನೇಟೆಡ್ ಬ್ಲಡ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ದ ಲಂಗ್ಸಿಂದ ಬರುವಂಥದ್ದು ಅದು ಲೆಫ್ಟ್ ವೆಂಟ್ರಿಕಲ್ಗೆ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಥ್ರೂ ದ bicuspid wall, and from here through aorta it is given to the body parts. ಬಾಡಿ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ಸಿಗೆ ಬ್ಲಡ್ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ರೈಟ್ ಆರಿಕಲ್ ರಿಸೀವ್ ಡಿಆಕ್ಸಿಜನೇಟೆಡ್ ಬ್ಲಡ್ and it is given to the right ventricle which is through tricuspid wall, from the right ventricle into the lungs, and after oxygenation left auricle will going to receive the oxygenated blood and it will enter into the left ventricle through the bicuspid wall, and through aorta left ventricle will going to pump the oxygenated blood to the body parts. So simultaneously we can observe pumping of oxygenated blood from the left ventricle into the body parts and right ventricle into the lungs, that is the deoxygenated blood or carbon dioxide containing blood. So here there is no provision for any mixing of oxygenated blood with deoxygenated blood or carbon dioxide containing blood. So it is called complete double circulation. It is considered as complete double circulation. Okay. Then the semilunar valve is there with respect to the major blood vessels. So ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೀನಿ, ಸುಪೀರಿಯರ್ ವೆನಾ ಕಾವಾ ಇನ್ಫೀರಿಯರ್ ವೆನಾ ಕಾವಾ ಅದು ರಿಸೀವ್ ಮಾಡುವಂಥದ್ದು ಅಲ್ವಾ. ದ ಪಲ್ಮನರಿ ಆರ್ಟರಿ ವಿಲ್ ಕ್ಯಾರಿ ದ ಆಕ್ಸಿಜನೇಟೆಡ್ ಬ್ಲಡ್ ಟು ದ ಲಂಗ್ಸ್. ಲಂಗ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಎಕ್ಸ್ಚೇಂಜ್ ಆಫ್ ಕಾರ್ಬನ್ ಡೈಆಕ್ಸೈಡ್ ವಿತ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಆಕ್ಸಿಜನ್, ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದೇರ್ ಅಂಡರ್ ರೆಸ್ಪಿರೇಷನ್ ಫಿನಾಮಿನಾ. We already studied under human respiration, and after the lungs the oxygenation is there. So oxygenation agi the pulmonary vein, this is the pulmonary vein will going to give the oxygenated blood to the heart, that is the left auricle, and left auricle will give the blood, that is oxygenated blood, through the bicuspid wall into the left ventricle, and left ventricle through the aorta it is given to the body parts. This is what human heart in general, the structure. Okay. So bicuspid wall, it is also called mitral wall, okay, another term. Okay. So that is what human heart and its structure. I will going to stop here. In the next class I will going to continue the mechanism of working of human heart, that is the conduction system, how the mechanism is there, how the pumping system is there, that we will study in the next class. Thank you.